really like the change in direction. For the first time, the new installment in One's Justice series feels like something new, as opposed to OG2, where changes felt like they were made for the sake of change instead of trying to make something entertaining and fresh. But on the other hand, some of these changes are so daring that I'm not sure they understand the dangerous consequences they're leading to. For example, excuse my 360p footage, I really have to zoom in order to show you the evidence. You can now block in air. All biking games are very floaty and allow you to turtle in air, and in order to have some sort of weakness to it, you could not block in it. You could only just guard, which is like a parry, and if you miss it, you're opened for a full combo. Now that it becomes a mad aerial game, they also increase the meter for guarding, so you can guard for longer, which is further boosted with a guard switch mechanic, and I don't know if that was a way to balance it. The damage scaling on combos is reduced, resulting in them making a lot of damage. And weird switch mechanic or not, they also build a lot of meter, almost a full bar per combo. That gives you opportunity to super, which is even more damage. That leads into a new DHC mechanic, which visually reminds me of Zenless Zone Zero for some reason. But you get the idea, even more damage. If things stay the way they are now, I guarantee you it's going to be a TOD combo out of some busted character week 1. But maybe it was intended that way. Looking at the way tagging works, it looks like a very chaotic game with a lot of switching. I can see a lot of people using dodge in tandem with it. On that note, I like that they're presenting a definitive answer that counterattack speed dodges. Unlike roles in previous game that had this unintuitive, sort of a vulnerable timing, but mostly were very difficult to punish. Overall, what I don't like so far are small insignificant things, like I don't need writings telling me all the actions that I just did. I'm also not a big fan of completely reused supers. I'm allowing myself not to concentrate and complain about it because I'm so distracted by the way they overhaul Dabi. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to avoid some of these moves. He looks crazy. They showed an air combo string for All Might. He uses his tail there, which is something that he used after being damaged, so you'd think that they'll save it for the Awakening mode, and I don't want to believe that this is his Awakening mode because other characters have it more fleshed out. Dabi has his face melt off. How cool is that? Tokoyami's got Dark Shadow armor. That is so cool. That is exactly what I want for his Awakening. I have absolutely no idea how they will handle other characters like Invisible Girl. I hope it won't be a Storm solution where a character just glows a little bit blue. But because the developers said in the interview that it was their dream to put the entirety of 1A into the game, so I do expect that some compromises had to be made in order to make them fit into the game. I just hope that it didn't do any meaningful damage. And by that I mean there are a lot of annoying tactics in the game. For example, Todoroki ice sliding all over the place. That one is punished by timing your jump in the end of his slide and trying to punish him in the air, which is very difficult to do. When I imagine that now he can block in this situation, or he can switch to Dabi, who also has incredible attacks that are difficult to avoid, and mix you up out of that, it makes me feel like the game is doubling down. Instead of removing these tactics, it encourages it. But I don't want to be negative about it, because maybe that's the whole point of the game, that every character can now do something incredibly broken and annoying. Now I'm more concerned if the netcode and training mode are done right to deal with this rather than anything else.